Welcome to the Integrate Therapy and Wellness Collective YouTube channel. My name is Susannah Moore. I'm a therapist at Integrate. I'm also one of our team leads. And today I want to talk about what an intake at Integrate would look like. I know as someone who is both a therapist and a client in therapy that intakes can feel really overwhelming. It can feel scary to go and meet a new person and talk about such personal subjects. So my goal today is to remove some of the mystery and intimidation that can surround these kinds of sessions. So let's talk about what happens. Prior to completing an intake, you will be sent some paperwork by our intake admin team. There'll be assessments in there for us to kind of get an understanding of what your mental health is looking like these days. There's a client history form for you to tell us a little bit about yourself, what you've been through, your family, different kinds of questions about your history, but nothing too deep. And then just some basic info like your insurance info, basic demographic stuff. Uh, then you'll be all ready to get scheduled for an intake. If you're coming to the office in person for an intake, when you get here, you'll be able to maybe make yourself a little cup of coffee or tea and get settled while you wait for your therapist to be ready. If you're doing an online intake, then you'll sign into Therapy Notes, our online portal, and you'll see the link right there for your session. We really encourage you to get comfy. This is not some formal meeting, so feel free to get yourself a cup of coffee and get cozy for your session. The purpose of an intake session is really for you and your therapist to get to know each other. And then ultimately for you to determine, is this the therapist that I want to work with ultimately? And for your therapist to determine, first of all, are they capable clinically of working with you as a client? And then what kinds of interventions and modalities will be most helpful to work with you through your therapeutic journey. So during the intake session, your therapist is going to ask you some questions about what brings you to therapy now, what's been going on with your mental health. They might want to learn a little bit about your history with treatment. What therapists have you seen before? What has worked in therapy? What has not worked in therapy? What is your relationship to therapy? Something that is not delved into deeply during an intake session is your trauma history. We might ask some basic questions about what has happened in the past, but we're not diving into the story that day. The truth is that you don't know us yet. We don't know you yet. There is no reason to be diving in to these very vulnerable stories when you don't have the like trust and rapport and relationship with your therapist that's necessary to really make that a safe thing to do. So some people come into an intake feeling afraid that um, they'll have to share these deep things that are painful to bring up with this stranger that they don't know. And at Integrate, we really discourage that because ultimately it's unhelpful to do that in the first session. So we really don't want to create that environment for you. Therapists might want to review your assessments during an intake. And then you might talk about what will treatment look like? What do you want to achieve in treatment? What are your goals? What kinds of interventions can the therapist use? This is a time when you get to ask all your questions. You get to let the therapist know anything that you want them to know. You can ask them questions about their work, about themselves. We really want the therapy space to be as comfortable as possible for you. So any question that you need to ask to make the space comfortable for you is fully welcome. At the end of the session, you and your therapist will talk about scheduling. You'll decide on a time and frequency that works best for you guys. And then you get to begin your work together. I hope that this has been helpful in kind of demystifying the intake process. If you are interested in scheduling an intake session with Integrate Therapy and Wellness Collective, you can visit our website at integratetherapyandwellness.com for more information about how to contact our scheduling team. Thanks for being here. I'm Susannah. Have a great day.